CNN News 18. This is Kamalika Sengupta. We are all bothered and we are all concerned about our neighbor. Yes, we are speaking of Bangladesh. The situation in Bangladesh is concerning. Specifically, the condition of women in Bangladesh is concerning. She actually was also in that movement, in July movement, which they claim that the big July movement, thinking of something will change, things will be better, but things are not. We have with us Dr. Zobaida Nasreen, who is a professor of Dhaka University. She has been working strongly on the gender activities, and right now for a scholarship, she's in Germany. She will speak to us on Bangladesh today on the condition of women. Dr. Zubaida, welcome to CNN News 18. You have been there, it's your motherland. What is the situation of women in Bangladesh? You were there in the movement also.
Thank you, Kavalika, for inviting me to talk about the situation of women in Bangladesh. Yes, I participated in a July movement because there are a lot of, struggling and struggle movement were against the then Army League government because they didn't arrange the proper election for 3 terms. They did not admit the freedom of expression of many peoples, and they used the Digital Security Act or harass the peoples. Therefore, it was not only the students who organized these things. However, people joined with these students because of their intervention to the police to give the punishment, to send the students to the jail, to file just false cases against them. So it was like something that people actually wanted to beside with the students. However, you know, when Dr. Yunus now is a chief of the caretaker interim government, she went to the USA with some fellows, especially the Mahfouz Alam, who has been now acting as a advisor of Ministry of Information. The Yunus introduced him as a um, one of the uh, chief one of the, I think, that planner of this movement, and he just emphasized the movement, just it was a meticulously planned. Therefore, stories came out about this movement, that how it has been planned, and different stakeholders came out forward with their own identities. And that was, I think, that big big uh, big issues that people came to know, that it was not a simple movement. It was planned by different stakeholders, not in nationally, but it also involved a lot of international stakeholders like UN, like many other powerful countries in the world. And the most important issues that the
Then what
uh,
happened when they came in power? Then
BNP
what did you
leaders,
see?
that BNP, yes, BNP's acting chairperson Tariq Rahman claimed, it was claimed that he was the planner of this movement, and the Jamaat-e-Islami actually, the 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 party who did a lot of criminal offense during the Bangladesh war, and who got involved in torturing, raping, and killing the intellectuals and the peoples who fought for the liberation war. They also came forward with the credit that they actually organized the movement. So I think people who participated in the movement, they somehow they feel that they need to revisit the movement. Some felt that they were betrayed, and they were trapped. Actually, this has been, we have been observing on Facebook, because people left their depression regarding the movement, and especially the issues of women. Like, I was
Recommendation
involved in a,
commission was made. What happened to that
yes,
commission? Hmm.
Yes, that I was involved with the student residential hall of Dhaka University. I found the students, actually, the women students, they went out at the midnight with their, very casual dresses. And that times the leaders of the Jamaat Islam and Hefazat-e-Islami, they didn't make any comment because they wanted to use the women in the movement. But when, you know, government formed first six reform commission, and the, I think, women reform commission was the latest one. And when they made some recommendation and suggestions to reform the women issues, then it was the first, I think, assault then the women's has been now encountering. First, the Jamaat Islam and Hefazat Islam, they actually came to the street to demand the banning of the commission itself. And they said that it was against the religion. Especially, they just focused on the four conditions that came a recommendation by Women's Reform Commission. One is the, like, to give the legal rights to the sex worker
Indeed.
in sex worker. And another one is that there is a slogan that my body is and my body, my decision. And other issues that they first assaulted the commission, because when they proposed the equal distribution of inheritance property, and they said that it is against the Islamic rules. And it they didn't end with these things, and they made a procession. They just, on the public places, they use this very like, on a slang against the women. They just label the head of the commission as sex worker. And nobody still now, they did not apologize to the to the citizens of Bangladesh for using this slang against women public meeting. And after that, we observed that the women are forced to uh, they are forced to change their dresses, and in the public places they are harassed, not covering their head. And even the
Did you
university.
get any such notice, or did you get any such harassment when you were there?
um Yes, I received a letter, like in the month of September, that it was told that I should come to the university with covering my head, and I shouldn't use the bindi because it is anti-Islamic and it is against the Sharia. And the letter was sent to my mailbox, and yes, I think that it is not. It couldn't be a single event. I think that many women actually have been harassed in public places for not covering their head, and about their dresses, that they should taking care of the even dupatta, and it should be it should be in the right place, that the from the that the actually the Islamic groups actually asked for. And they kept harassing the women. Especially, there are a lot of incidents took place in the Cox's Bazar, in the Dhaka also. And
Do you
there is a
think
lot of.
Bangladesh is taken over by Islamist fundamentalists, and they are pressurizing this, and the women there are scared?
uh, it is not easy to respond this question, but I need to tell these things. The government, interim government, has been biased and has been fanning to the Islamic groups actually, and they are easily taking their sides. And whenever there is a demand. Demand from Islamic groups come forward. The interim government is trying to take these issues, and they are giving the causes that we don't want any procession or vandalization in the country. So this is the way that Indian government is trying to legalize their unlawful demand that coming from the Islamic groups. And I am I'm sure, and I need to tell it strongly that the interim government, what they're doing because of they're influenced by the Islamic ideology, or not only Islamic ideology, the ideology that the Islamic group and Hefazat-e-Islam have been upholding. You know, so and therefore,
Now the woman
they said
scared. You speak to them. You have just
yes,
come from
women,
scholarship. You will
women.
go back to your country.
Yes, but
Is the
women are
woman
scared.
scared?
Yes, women are scared, very scared about the situation because when there is enforcement of like changing the dresses, changing the rules and regulations, and few just last month we observed that they hang the dolls like seeing as a women, and they just wore the saris, and this the leaders and the activists of the Hefazat-e-Islam and Jamaat-e-Islam, they just dishonored us, even the doll. It symbolized something like they are not in position to show the respect, proper respect to the women. And women are actually, I observed also some of the women, they just change their gesture, not to show as they used to do it before, because they are trying to avoid the unnecessary harassments coming from the Islamic activists and groups. Because in the market also, I have heard a lot of stories that the women who go out with the market and not covering their head, and they received a lot of bad comments from the unknown persons, but they strongly believe that they are activists of the Islamic groups. So it is not only that women are scared, it is something that it restricts their mobility, it restricts their freedom of choice where to go, it restricts their everyday lives.
Do
So
you feel cheated as you are part also of the movement also? Do you feel betrayed at times that, this is not the change which you all wanted?
it is very difficult to clicking this yes or no, or it's a kind of betrayal or something. But rather, I would love to give the concentration on the issues that yes, that movement. Uh, I think that there is a lots of logical ground to organize the movement. The dream, the commitment that we used to have to get involved with this movement, I don't think so. This government is going to uphold these issues. That's the first things that I think people who got participated in this movement, they felt a kind of depressed. I cannot say this. All of them feel that they are betrayed. However, they had a dream to change the society. They had a dream to change the atmosphere of exercising freedom of expression. However, the total scenery or total situation has been changed through a different way that we expected in the movement.
Bangladesh moving back with this, rise of fundamentalist and Islamist radicals. Do you think, you are a son of daughter of that country? How do you feel bad about it? You'll go back to that country, your own motherland.
Yes, we have been struggling for a long time to get our society free and I think uh, neutral to the women even, because that was our first focus, to change the atmosphere, to make the secured places for women. However, it is still, I think the situation is worse than the before, but situation, of course, it was not a favorable in before as well. However, this has been shaped in a new form nowadays, because of the Islamic groups. They try to endorse a lot of rules and regulation on the women,
NCP
especially.
also supports that. NCP also supports the new
Yes,
party.
the public meeting I already referred to you, that the activists and leaders, they openly made a bad comments and slang against the women's, and especially the against the chief of this women's reform commissions. But the leaders of the NCP, they are presented in the meeting, and they didn't protest against it. That received a huge critic from the peoples who had a hope on the NCP leaders, because in this way, they supported the ideology of the Islamic groups they are having in terms of security, in terms of the honor of the women in the society.
What is your message for the women of Bangladesh who are there, scared, there?
it is interesting to see that, when people are making a lot of protest and a lot of critique towards the decision that come from different political parties or the interim government taken. However, there is a, some sort of same position they are like having and keeping against the women when there is a obstacle challenges uh, came against women from different corners. Then they feel that, oh, they are on the same pages, especially NCP, especially Jamaat-e-Islam, Hefazat-e-Islam, interim government. They did not make any remarkable changes against this, against this situation of women. Even the interim government didn't make any, I think, steps against the persons or leaders who spoke very bad things, and even they just use the word sex workers to the chief of the women reform commission, and they didn't make any steps to protect the women and to make a protest or to show their actual disagreement with these comments and with this perception that the Islamic groups are having. So this is interesting that how all masculine perspectives on different corners can come together and hold the same feelings and having the position on the same room against the women.
So this is where the depression is. The people who that time fought were on the roads. They are also unhappy, and this is Doctor Professor who has been working for so long for our motherland. She also feels touched. She also is sad, unhappy because the situation of women in Bangladesh is not good.
It is interesting, the Professor Yunus used to be like, he was welcomed, he was like appreciated to form the Grameen Bank that deal with the blood
But
women,
he,
to empower the women through the microcredit. And I was wondering actually how really personally he felt when the women of his country even been harassed, been shamed by the Islamic groups,
he's
because
not saying
it is not the
anything.
motto that a pioneer of the Grameen Bank should only observe this situation. And I think it is his duty as well to make a remarkable steps to change the situation, because he was a, like, Nobel laureate, and he was respected as a Nobel laureate because he was one of the pioneer persons in South Asia who tried to especially change the women position in society through the microcredit to make them empowered.
Yeah.
However, the situation is totally different when he is in power, because we haven't actually seen any steps, positive steps that actually will act to secure the women in Bangladesh.
Okay. We
So this
will,
is the first, I think, the
yeah.
first betrayed position of the Professor Yunus that we have been observing.
This is really sad, but we hope the situation will change. Thanks a lot, Professor, to talking to us and telling the truth to the world that what is actually happening in Bangladesh. Thanks a lot.